Namaskar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, respected dignitaries, eminent photographers, distinguished delegates from India and abroad, and dear friends. Our great poet Rabindranath, throughout his life and writings, advocated for universal brotherhood and world citizenship. I would like to start with some of his lines. সবারই করি আহ্বান, এসো উৎসুক চিত্ত, এসো আনন্দিত প্রাণ, হৃদয় দেহ পাতি, রেখাকার দিবারাতি, করুক আনন্দ গান। আকাশে আকাশে বনে বনে, তোমাদের মনে মনে, বিছায় বিছায় দিবে গান। সুন্দরের পাদপীঠ তলে, যেথা কল্যাণ দ্বীপ জলে, সেথা পাবে স্থান। I just try to convey what he said in these lines. He says that he invites every soul with love, and everybody is welcome in this festival of life with enthusiasm, with joy. He says that across the skies, to the forest and open fields, we would spread the love of song and happiness, and we finally bow down to the beauty, and there we will find each and every soul will find the place at the feet of beauty. On behalf of Photographic Association of Dam, in association with Birla Industrial Technological Museum, and under the aegis of Ministry of Culture, Government of India, I extend a warm welcome to you all in the valedictory program of 13th International Photographic Conference 2026. We are truly honored by your presence in this evening as we come together to celebrate ideas, images, and international collaboration through the powerful medium of photography. Over the past days, this conference has been a vibrant platform for creative exchanges, critical analysis, and technological exploration, especially at the intersection of photography and emerging tools such as artificial intelligence. This evening marks not an end, but a meaningful pause where we reflect, acknowledge the excellence, and look forward. Now, we would like to have our honored guests, dignitaries on stage. I request our chairperson of today's program, Honorable Justice Ashim Kumar Banerjee sir, to come up on stage and brighten up the stage by taking his seats. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. We are deeply honored to have with us our guest in chief, Mr. Simon Hill, President of Royal Photographic Society, Great Britain. Please, Mr. Simon Hill. Now I would request to come up on stage to Professor Suranjan Das, Vice Chancellor of Adams University, former Vice Chancellor of Jadavpur University and Kolkata University as well. Please, sir. I would like to request to come up on stage Dr. Arijit Datta Choudhury, Director General, National Council of Science Museum, an institution that has constantly bridged science, culture, I'm sorry, he has not come yet. We are honored. We are honored to have Mr. Arnav Chatterjee, Director, Birla Industrial Technological Museum, whose leadership has always encouraged us to connect between science and creativity. Yes, sir. It is our privilege to welcome Mr. Ionis Lukoris. I'm afraid if I have pronounced your name properly, please pardon me. The General Secretary of FIAP, Greece, representing the global photographic fraternity with distinction. Thank you, sir. We warmly welcome Mr. OVD Pop from Romania. Thank you. And Ms. Sheila Dasan from Mauritius, whose presence reflects the truly international spirit of this conference. Thank you. Now we are going to I now request Dr. Abhinav Ganguly, President of Photographic Association of Dom, to please come up on stage. Thank you, Dr. Ganguly. And also the Secretary of Photographic Association of Dom, Professor Vishwato Sengupta, to please take the seat. We are now going to start our felicitation program with a memento and an uttorio. It is an Indian type to show the respect and love from us, one by one, from left. Dr. Abhinav Ganguly is being felicitated. I request the audience to give a big hand. Mr. OVD Pop from Romania is being felicitated. Mr. Arnav Chatterjee, Director of Birla Industrial Technological Museum, now is being felicitated. Mr. Simon Gill, our guest in chief of today's program, is being felicitated. Now, Professor Shiranjan Das, eminent academician of our country, is being felicitated. Our patron, Revered Justice Ashim Kumar Banerjee, Mr. Iris Lukoris from Greece, is being felicitated now. Ms. Sheila Dasa from Mauritius is being now felicitated. Now, our beloved Secretary of PhD, Professor Vishwakar Sengupta. We are now starting our valedictory program with the valedictory speech that will be delivered by Professor Shuranjan Das. Please, sir.
Honorable Justice Ms. Ashwin Kumar Banerjee, Mr. Simon Hill, distinguished members of the House, friends. Could I first say a very big thank you to the organizers of this program, particularly Mr. Vishwakar Sengupta and Mr. Shopna Gupta for enabling me to be here on this valedictory session of the 13th International Photographic Conference. I am sure you had a very fruitful and perhaps provocative deliberations from 23rd January onwards, and so I won't take much of your time while I give my valedictory speech and take few moments. Let me start with an assertion. The assertion being, I quote, "Photography is not a mere technical skill or an artistic hobby, but it is one of the most influential cultural forces of the modern world." Unquote. Let me explicate this point. Since its emergence in the 19th century, photography has fundamentally altered how human beings see, remember, record, and interpret reality. It has reshaped art, it has transformed communication, it has strengthened historical memory, and it has played a decisive role in shaping social and political consciousness at different historical conjunctures. At its most basic level, photography is the art of preserving moments. Time is relentless and human memory is fragile. But photography, by capturing a fleeting moment, grants it a durability. A single photograph can preserve a childhood, a landscape, a festival, a historical event, or an emotion that would have otherwise faded into oblivion. I live in Salt Lake, and I was discussing with some of the members of the House that when we moved into Salt Lake was full of cash pool. I don't know what is the English equivalent of cash pool. You never see them now. But because I took some photographs of that Salt Lake, today when I look at those photographs, it gives a reminiscing memory, which is refreshing. Similarly, Calcutta High Court. When the youth started practice, and now as we see Calcutta High Court, it's completely different. But because those moments of the earlier time have been captured, it gives a valid memory. I was discussing with a distinguished colleague from England about Oxford and Cambridge. He was at Cambridge, I was at Oxford. When I went to Oxford in 1984 as a student, and now when I go back every time, things are completely different. But because I could keep some of the photographic memories of boat race, etc., which occurs still now but in a completely different context, those photographs enable me to capture some of the fleeting moments in my life. So photography, as I argue, has remained a powerful instrument of memory, both personal and collective. Family albums, institutional archives, and national repositories together form visual histories that help us understand where we came from and how we have arrived at the present. As I been aptly remarked, and I quote, "Photography is a simultaneous recognition in a fraction of a second of the significance of an event." Unquote. Photography occupies a central place also in the writing of history. Photographs have served as crucial visual evidence of wars, political movements, social transformations, and everyday life. For example, India is a civilizational state, and India's civilizational journey from ancient temples and medieval cities to colonial encounters and post-independence transformations has been unfolded by photographs. Photography can play a vital role in preserving cultural and national heritage. This is particularly important for a country like India, which has a shared culture marked by pluralism, assimilative culture, and cultural diversity. Monuments decay, landscapes change, and traditions evolve or disappear under the pressures of change and modernization. But photography allows us to document and archive these transformations. In heritage studies, archaeology, and digital humanities, photographs particularly serve as essential records for conservation, restoration, and public engagement. They allow future generations to access the lost world and understand cultural continuity and change, which for a country like India, which is diversity and which is principle of unity and diversity, is particularly important. Again, take the images of Mahatma Gandhi's Dandi March and his breaking of the notorious salt law, which not only electrified the entire Indian nation, but brought to the world the message of the Indian quest for freedom from the shackles of colonialism. Photographs of nationalist mass protests, of leaders addressing the people during the freedom struggle, continue to shape how we remember the struggle for independence. Again, the photographs of communal violence during the prelude to our independence and the trauma of partition remind us how the British left India, but only after dividing the country along religious lines. Similarly, photographs of post-independence India capturing the building of institutions, industrial growth, urbanization, and democratic participation, along with portrayals of inequality, displacement, migration, environmental degradation, and struggles for justice and political violence, offer invaluable insight into our national journey. Often, a single image can convey the spirit of a particular era more powerfully than pages of text. Equally important is the role of photography in promoting social awareness and moral responsibility. Photography has repeatedly functioned as a catalyst for social change. Images of poverty, displacement, injustice, or human suffering have compelled societies to confront uncomfortable realities. Photojournalism in particular has unfolded truths which might have otherwise remained concealed. At the same time, photography can celebrate dignity, resilience, joy, and cultural diversity, reminding us of the shared humanity that binds us together across differences. The point that was made about Tagore's poem while the program was being initiated. In educational and academic context, photography can be an invaluable pedagogic tool. It enhances learning by making abstract ideas tangible and complex concepts visually accessible. Across disciplines, whether history, anthropology, geography, architecture, medicine, or environmental studies, photography functions as evidence, illustration, and analytical resource. It encourages close observation, critical thinking, and interpretative skills. Students can thus be trained to read images critically, become more discerning consumers of information. Photography is also deeply intertwined with arts. As a creative medium, it combines technical precision with aesthetic sensibility, observation, and imagination to transform ordinary scenes into works of visual expression. Learning to engage with photography critically teaches us to question what we see, to ask who is behind the camera, and to reflect on images which influence our perception. At a personal level, photography nurtures patience, attentiveness, and empathy. It trains the eye to notice detail and the mind to slow down in a fast-moving world. Photography thus, I contend, cultivates a deeper, more thoughtful engagement with life. Photography sharpens our ethical and intellectual sensibility. To photograph is to choose to frame one reality and exclude another. Let me end by reflecting on the problematic of artificial intelligence and photography. Like other aspects of social life, AI has also impacted photography. It has been argued by the protagonists of AI that in this digital age, photography has become more democratic. Why? Because the proliferation of smartphones and social media platforms, photography is no longer confined to professionals. Millions can now participate daily in visual storytelling. So there is a democratization process. It has been argued as a result of the introduction of AI. It is believed that this democratization has amplified voices that were once marginalized, enabling individuals and communities to represent themselves rather than be represented by others. But I argue that this transformation has come with some challenges, and I would like to highlight some of them. First, there is a concern for authenticity. AI generated and AI altered images blurred the line between documentation and fabrication, undermining photography's long-standing role as visual evidence. In an era of deepfakes and synthetic imaging, photographs can no longer be trusted at face value, and photojournalism particularly faces the challenge of credibility. AI-driven image analysis and facial recognition can endanger sources, protesters, and vulnerable communities, while algorithm biases may reinforce stereotypes or misidentify individuals, especially in societies marked by inequality and diversity. Secondly, there is a danger of displacement of human creativity and labor as a result of the introduction of AI. AI can even use existing photographic masterpieces without attribution to the original creator, a dangerous trend indeed. As AI automates image creation, editing, and even artistic decision making, photographers face the risk of devaluation of their skilled craftsmanship, traditionally grounded in patience, judgment, and lived experience. Thirdly and finally, AI has also introduced some ethical and cultural challenges. AI can be used and is being used to reproduce dominant visual stereotypes while marginalizing local culture, vernacular aesthetics, and non-Western ways of seeing. Non-Western ways of seeing, because AI knowledge is still heavily Western dominated. This is especially troubling for countries like India, where photography has been a crucial tool for social documentation and cultural memory. Or take the case of the United States of America. The other day I was reading an article which shows that with the rise of the AI, there has been a significant rise of racial stereotyping and racial violence. All these should not, however, imply that photographers need not shy away from AI. Instead, the photographers must use AI creatively and devise new forms of originality which the AI cannot copy effectively. This is a challenge for the current photographers. At the same time, the photographers should come together to generate a civil society consciousness that could make policy framers both at national and international levels to come up with apt regulations and promote digital literacy so that there can be a renewed commitment to human vision, responsibility, and truth, which alone can sustain the purity of photography in this age of AI. We need to strive for a legal mechanism that can force newsrooms to abide by ethics, strengthen visual verification practices, and reaffirm that responsible human judgment, not automated generation, remains central to truthful reporting. I take the opportunity of driving this home point in the presence of Justice Banerjee, because we do look up to them to ensure that AI ethical rules are formulated and implemented in the right way so that AI does not pose a direct challenge to humanity and human consciousness. Already UNESCO has taken some steps, and we do look forward to our jurists in India to adopt those rules so that AI can become a complement and not a challenger to the existing ethics. Let me conclude by restressing the point with which I started, that photography is not merely about images, it is about insight. Photography bridges art and documentation, Photography bridges emotion and evidence. Photography links memory and imagination. Photography preserves the past, illuminates the present, and shapes how the future will remember us. Despite digital challenges, photography must remain one of the most powerful tools through which we can understand ourselves, our society, and our shared humanity. To value photography, therefore, is, as I see it, to value truth, memory, creativity, and responsibility itself, revealing what the celebrated Indian photographer Raghu Rai reminded us, that I quote, "A photograph is a voice. Without it, many stories would remain unheard." A photograph is a voice. Without it, many stories would remain unheard, unquote. And to ensure that photography retains this voice, conference as the present one is, I think, is of invaluable importance, so that at one time we can generate the consciousness that I mentioned, and also enable the photographers to come together to challenge that has been posed by AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Das, for your valuable speech explaining photography, its different contextual part in the light of history and ever-changing nature and culture of world's civilization. Your delivery certainly would add to our knowledge. Thank you, sir. Now we would like to hear a few words from Mr. Arnab Chatterjee, Director of Birla Industrial Technological Museum, whose cooperation and help in conducting the conference successfully is commendable. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, distinguished guests. On the outset, my sincere apology for my absence in the inaugural event, and I'm sorry for that. I was a bit occupied in some other project in the Northeast. I know it's not time to, I am too late to welcome you all to BITM once again, because it will be too early perhaps for the next year. And of course, I have nothing to hide from that. I do really welcome you for the next year's event as well. Having said that, once when Vishwarupda, who is right down there with a camera in his hand, and Professor Sengupta and Professor Ganguly approached me to host this event together here in BITM, I was, in fact, this is the first time I'm participating in this event, and so I didn't have much of an idea what is exactly going to happen. But later on, I could connect that how closely photography is related to the job that we do here. Here in BITM. With my little experience, with my background of electronics engineering and little experience of over a decade of working over here in this council, we boast of making our own exhibits. So when you say exhibits, these are all models which explain different aspects of science and technology. So while we develop those of the exhibits, we use photography without much of a cognizance that it is the key player in developing many of the AI-driven exhibits, as about AI, my previous speaker has pointed out very rightly, that if it is not tackled, if it is not worked with proper dignity and other things, it may lead to a kind of massacre. So without going into those kind of a debate, let me quickly tell you why photography used to play a crucial role in my job as well. If you have visited one gallery down there, which is Lost at Sea, which was very recently inaugurated in our premise, and we have developed two of the exhibits out there. One is called D Geotaku, and the other one is called the existence amongst extinction. So in the first exhibit, what we have tried to say, in older Japan, there happens to be a practice when they go for catching fishes and other sea animals and other things, and when they catch it, to boast of their catch, they used to take an imprint of those of the catches on a piece of paper, sometimes on a piece of rock or something. And those of the from those time, those of the imprints nowadays used to play a very crucial role to make us understand which of the specific species have become extinct, which of the sea animals are no longer there in the world. So the effort of humankind to take photographs was as old as that. From then on, we somehow try to capture our memories and other things. So you might have seen that particular exhibit down there in the gallery. The other gallery, the application of photography, now how we use it nowadays is obviously for image recognition. Image recognition is a part of machine learning or deep learning. What does it do? We used to take multiple photographs of the subject, and when we try to make the machine aware of that particular subject, we annotate the image, multiple of them, and then the system tries to extract the features out of those of the images and then tries to recognize that particular subject. So in the process, I have said a number of things, and trust me, thousands of lines of code goes behind that. But the very first step without which all these things cannot exist is taking a photograph, taking a snap. And that is where exactly we owe to our very basic need of capturing a moment, capturing an image. Well, to be very honest, my experience in photography, my knowledge in photography is really shallow, and I don't consider myself a good speaker in this forum. So I won't prefer to stand in between you and today's dignified speakers for long. So I'd like to end here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee, for your inspiring words. Now, I would like to take a hold of the microphone to Dr. Abhaynath Ganguly, President of Photographic Association of Damdam, to deliver his speech.
Good evening, everybody. At the very outset, I pay my respect to the dignitaries in the dais, distinguished guests, delegates from India and abroad, authorities and staff members of the BITM, my fellow PhDians, speakers, those who have delivered lectures during the sessions, ladies and gentlemen. As we reach the closing moments of the 13th International Photographic Conference, I stand before you with a heartfelt gratitude, fulfillment and pride. Over the last 4 days, this platform did turn into a vibrant and cordial meeting ground of ideas, culture and creative vision expressed through the universal language of photography. The cordial interaction that we experienced reminded us of the great saying, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the people from all over the world are our relatives. Photography, as we witnessed during the last few days, is far more than a technical pursuit. Jantrasiddhi. It is a medium of truth, that is Tutta Suttu, as well as a creative medium that gives us internal pleasure, ananda. Each image shared here reminded us that while our geographies may differ, our emotions and aspirations are deeply connected. My wholehearted thanks are due to the speakers, respected chairpersons, moderators, and efficient conducting of the sessions, and admirably the question and answer session that inspired and enriched the delegates for image making. I must place on record my deep gratitude to the organizing committee, volunteers, teachers, assistants, and the authorities of BITM whose tireless effort enabled smooth functioning of the procedures. My special thanks goes to Mr. Vishwarup Ganguly for his untiring effort throughout the entire period of organizing this conference. Further, I wish to place on record my deep gratitude to the international delegates for strengthening the spirit of global fellowship that this conference stands for. So, let us carry forward the spirit of this conference not merely as motivation but as a guiding force for our motivation. Not merely as a force of motivation, but our guiding force for the next event. Let camera be an instrument of consciousness as well as our inspiration for creativity. I wish you all safe journey back home and continued success in your artistic and professional pursuit. In Upanishad, as it is said, Tejosi. It means that whatever we have learned, we have studied during the last 4 days, let it make us more powerful so far as our profession and passion is concerned. Thank you very much. Sayonara.
Thank you, Dr. Ganguly. Now, after the President comes to the microphone is Professor Vishwatoshan Gupta, Secretary of Photographic Association of Dam, an ever energetic person. We would like to hear some of his words from him.
Good evening, everyone. Respected dignitaries in the dais, foreign delegates and Indian delegates. After a eloquent deliberation by Suranjan Das and also some dynamic version by our director Arnav Chatterjee, my speech will be very gloomy and boring because this is a report. So I request you to kindly pardon me. A brief report on 13th International Photographic Conference. We are wrapping up the 13th International Photographic Conference hosted by the Photographic Conference Dam in partnership with Birla Industrial Technological Museum under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and supported by PhD Alumni Association and also our national body FRT. The conference ran from 23rd to 27th at BITM auditorium here on Gurushala Road, Kolkata. We first launched this international conference in 1982 during a silver jubilee aiming to connect photo enthusiasts from all over the world, share updates in photographic technology and explore different perspectives on the art and cultural impact of photography. Since then, the conference has become a regular event of PhD's calendar. This year marks the 13th edition, organized under the auspices of the Federation of International Photography. Registration kicked off at 2 p.m. on 23rd January. Not long after, Mr. Rotin Chakraborty presented a stunning photographic travel log, Ballad of Silk Route, showcasing the landscape and culture along the ancient Silk Route. The official opening ceremony started at 5 p.m. with Mr. I.M.S. Lycosis, Secretary General of PIAP, inaugurating the event. Mr. Showman Ghosh, curator of BITM, welcomed everyone. Some traveled quite a distance to be here and spoke about BITM history. He highlighted how photography bridged science and the arts. Dr. Avan Ganguly, our president, greeted the delegates, emphasizing how photography sits right at the intersection of art and technology. He reaffirmed PhD's dedication to photography and hoped this conference would spark meaningful international conversation. Professor Shendut, myself, Secretary of, shared the exhibition's history and vision, outlined what this year's conference aimed to achieve. Dr. Borun Kumar Sinha, Secretary General of the Federation of Indian Photography, raised the issue of AI misuse in photography and expressed hope that this conference would confront this challenge. He also praised PhD's ongoing efforts to promote the art. Professor Anuram Basu delivered the keynote tracing photography's journey from early optics to today's AI-driven approaches. He discussed the tension between classic decision moment and automated images, stressing the need for strong visual literacy in our image overloaded world. Mrs. Sheila Descent from Mauritius unveiled the official conference souvenir that is circulated to you all. Mr. Simon Hill, President of the Royal Photographic Society, who is first time here in Kolkata, shared his excitement to attend and spoke about the threat to photographic integrity posed by generative AI. Mr. O.V.T. Pop, a prominent internationally famous Romanian photographer, expressed his joy in leading a large group from Romania to the event. There are 11 persons from Romania. Mr. Ioannis Lykoris, in his inaugural address, reflected on how photography stands at the crossroad between tradition and innovation in this era of AI. Mr. Himadri Dr. wrapped up the session with formal vote of thanks. After a short break for high tea, the audience was treated to a captivating dance program by Mrs. Mohumita Boshak and her troupe. The conference picked up again on January 24th with Mrs. Sheila Descent of Mauritius chairing the opening session. Delegates introduced themselves and Mr. Himadri Dr. spoke about the changes in photography after COVID, especially the drop of student numbers at PhD. He sparked a lively discussion and everyone agreed that this is a trend in the global level. After tea break, the second session, World in Vision, kicked off with Mr. Simon Hill as chairman and Dr. Joydeep Rishi as moderator. Simon Hill opened things up, arguing that photography's power today comes from how it blends with other art and spread across the digital world. He learned on thinkers and work like Walter Benjamin, Ronald Barthes, and Susan Sontag, describing photography as something shaped by institution and context. He also pointed out how the Royal Photographic Society kept the conversation going about ethics in a world flooded with AI and digital images. Then came Mr. O.V.D. Pop with his conceptual project, The Four Sessions. He put a twist on the world seasonal theme using drone shots of Romanian chapel. Through his lens, you could see how the changing landscape marked the passing of time and strip of memories. The last speaker of the session, Mrs. Shivani Malik, took everyone to a quick tour of Peru from Inca Empire to today. She highlighted places like Machu Picchu and Lima, showing Peru as a dream for photographers, ancient ruins, vibrant cities, and a rich mix of culture all in one place. After the talk, the room buzzed with debates. Delegates got into what really validated a photograph. After lunch, third session focused on artificial intelligence with Mr. Ioannis Lykoris as chair and Dr. Avan Ganguly as moderator. Lykoris kicked things off by weighing AI's promise of creativity and efficiency against worries about losing authenticity, and skill. He talked about how AI is taking up photojournalism and context, mentioning fierce firm stance against AI-generated content. He argued that transparency and rules matter. AI should help human vision, not replace it. Next, Professor Debashish Dey of McLeod University talked about the trade-off between the benefits of AI data and the risks to privacy. He explained how people often give up privacy without realizing it and suggested using blockchain to protect individual rights. He made a strong case for decentralized intelligence as the backbone of an ethical and sustainable photo ecosystem. In the last paper, Mr. Shankar of KIT, Kolkata International Institute of Technology of Bhubaneswar, shared his project using generative AI to retell Rabindranath Tagore's story Shubha. He spoke honestly about the challenge of capturing the feel of 19th century Bengal. For AI's real power comes when people guide it. It can expand what's possible in photography, but it needs a human touch to keep the emotion and history real. This session ended on a high note with lively back and forth from the audience. To close out, the BITM put on a scientific magic show. The fourth session, all about scientific and technical paper, kicked off on the morning of 25th January 26. Dr. Avanath Ganguly chaired the session with Mr. Minal Banerjee as moderator. Mr. Ashim Poddar stated the day explaining how digital photomicrography lets scientists study molecular interaction that regular microscope can catch. Thanks to digital processing and statistical tools, researchers can now spot tiny spatial relationships, making digital photography crucial in cell biology. Next up, Mr. Utshav Roy and Dr. Pallavi Ganguly presented a joint paper on using computers to catch leukemia early. With MATLAB, they analyzed images of white blood cells, showing how hard data can flag cell problems and predict disease stages. Ms. Odushwa Ghosh followed diving into Chemogram, a hand-on camera-free process that welcomed randomness and chemistry. She contrasted this with the predictability of digital photography, arguing that analog experimentation brings back the creative magic of working with real material. Wrapping up the session, Mr. Parthopratim Haldar and Professor Sengupta showed how playing with RGB and the luminosity channel in Photoshop can turn ordinary images into abstract art. For them, channel separation is where technique meets imagination, opening endless doors for both artists and analysts. The audience had plenty of questions and thought once the paper wrapped up. The fifth session zeroed on pictorial photography. Mr. O.V.D. Pop chaired with Mr. Himadishwar Dotto, moderator. Professor Shubhendu Vikasina dug into the abstraction, seeing it as moved from simply drawing on Indian aesthetics theory. He showed how abstraction lets photographers reimagine reality with imagination and feeling, bringing the idea of Russia to life. Dr. Joydeep Rishi appeared for the paper. Rishi's paper analyzed how viral crisis image creates what he calls instant memory in today's digital world. These images let us witness suffering from after and spread it everywhere, but they also turn complex histories into quick, forgettable symbols. Rishi wrapped up by pushing for more ethical spectroscopy and the idea of building counter-achieve, basically ways to give digital memories more meaning instead of just letting them become empty spectacles. That session sparked a lively back and forth between delegates and speakers. Then everyone broke for lunch. After lunch, The fifth session picked up again. Marina from Romania kicked things off with the lively presentation drawn from her photo book exploring the social and cultural life of northern Romania. Shomu Mukherjee took the floor after that, making a case for analog photography. He sees it is a necessary antidote to the fast, product-driven digital scene. By focusing on the physical process and showing down analog, lets people reflect and see themselves more clearly. Mukherjee compared it to classical music. Analog makes us pause and rethink, even in a world that is digital all the time. Next up, Miss Amrita Ghosh talked about how photography shifted from being a rare way to preserve memories to something people do every day on social media. She pointed out that while modern photography chases instant life, there is this interesting return to raw and unfiltered look, almost as a pushback against digital overload. Mr. Shubham Chaki's paper dove into cinematography. He showed how photography has borrowed tricks from cinema, like dramatic lighting and sequences, to become a true narrative art. Drawing from film history, he argued that cinematography gives photography its emotional depth and storytelling skill. Mr. Shambhu Das followed, sharing his personal shift from representational to abstract photography. By focusing on form, color, and texture, he believes abstraction opens a door to inner exploration. For him, it is about tapping into visual intuition, not just showing what is literally there. He wrapped up with a slideshow of his own artistic work. To close out the conference paper, Mr. Someswal Mukhopadhyay traced street photography's movement towards abstraction. He showed how some photographers turn everyday scenes into something poetic, using blur, playing with light, and transforming the ordinary into surreal. We call the street photography plus, a version that lifts regular life into something almost dreamlike. Like before, the audience stayed energetic and engaged through the last few papers did not get as much attention as the reserved time just run out. In the sixth session, everyone visited the new BITM gallery, Lost at Sea. It really made a lasting impression on them. On January 26, the foreign delegates went out for a local tour to various places like Harwathal, Nico Park, Concrete Basin Study Center, and the Ghats of the Ganges during the evening for the Bhashan, Saraswati Bhashan, squeezing every drop out of the photo opportunities along the way. Prior to the conference, a national workshop on photography was held at the same venue from January 21st to 23rd. Distinguished faculty from Photography London conducted 4 sessions on various genres of photography. The inaugural ceremony of the workshop was held on 21st at 11 a.m. The welcome address was given by Mr. Showman Ghosh, curator of BITM, and greetings were offered by Dr. Abhinav Ganguly, president of PAD. Professor Sengupta, secretary of PAD, explained the various aspects of the workshop to the participants. This was followed by self-introduction session of the participant and the resource person. Afterward, Mr. Showman Ghosh delivered a highly inspirational inaugural address. He and Mr. Madhuseka Doctor offered the vote of thanks at the end of the session. After the tea break, the first workshop titled Experimental Refraction Photography began. Mr. Minal Banerjee explained the possibility of experimental photography through the craft use of various transparent objects using their refractive properties. Mr. Minal Paul demonstrated how interesting experimental photography is possible using various equipment, camera setup, and lighting arrangements. Through his practical demonstration, the participants enjoyed the session with hand-on practice. The second workshop on situational portrait studies was held during the morning session of 22nd. The session was directed by Mr. Uttam Sen. He explained how to manage lighting arrangement and camera angles for a successful situational portrait study under Mr. Sen's guidance. The participants released the session by taking portrait photographs in various environments of this medium. The afternoon session on the same day was dedicated to a third workshop on lighting and evaluation of photograph by Dr. Avanath Ganguly. Introduces the objective of the workshop at the beginning. Following, Mr. Himadri Shekhar Bhakto and Professor Tarak Sengupta enlightened the participants on various aspects for aesthetics, appreciation and criticism for evaluating pictorial photograph. The workshop concluded with an interactive and enjoyable session involving the viewing of various photographs. Participants were asked to evaluate the images and provide their comment. Dr. Ganguly and other sources added their own valuable insight to further enlighten the participants. The fourth workshop, titled Restoration Using Photoshop, was held on the morning of the 23rd. At the beginning of the workshop, Mr. Asim Sundar explained the science and art of the digital restoration process. In the second part, Mr. Parthapratim Haldar demonstrated how digital restoration is currently done using Photoshop. This interactive session was appreciated by the participants and the meeting was concluded with a good. Thank you all for giving a patient hearing to me the boring news of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sengupta, for the report. We got a very clear and vivid picture of what happened in the last few days. Now it is our privilege to call upon the dais Mr. Ioannis, Secretary General of EFIAP Greece, as a representative of global photographic culture. We would be delighted to hear a few words about his views on our conference and his views about photography.
Do you all understand English? And what about Greek? So, what do you think if I used only Greek words in my speech? Let's give it a try. This symposium was a panorama of aesthetics and fantasy, wherein dialogues and theories synergized into a symphony between sigma and pathos, the eros for photography. Photography, for us, is the catalyst of empathy, the epos of metamorphosis within our ecumenical cosmos. At the epilogue of this synedrion, let us enthrone the ethos of harmony at the base of a poetic iconography. Thank you. So, having said all that, I would like to thank you all the participants for your presence during these 5 days here. Special thanks also to the organizers, the Photographic Association of Dumdum, Dr. Ganguly, Birla Museum, for the greatest organization, including the technical staff and the volunteers who helped us see this conference during these 4 or 5 days. For many of you, for this town, the beautiful town of Kolkata, is the city of joy. For me, it's not just a city of joy. Having been here 3 times, maybe thanks to my friend Subrata Datta, I know this town now very well. I'm very familiarized. I could say that it's my second hometown. Last but not least, I would like to express my gratitude to my dearest friend, Professor Sengupta. I would like to offer him a book from FIAP. It's our catalog with the biennials of 2022 and 2023.
I accept with great
Thank you, Mr. Paris. Now we would like to call up here Mr. Ovi Deepo from Romania.
Hi everybody. I was not prepared to take a speech now. Firstly, I would like to thank Mr. Sengupta because he invited me for the third time and I am here for the second time. So it was for the first meeting was 9 years ago, and Kolkata remains in my heart. And I'm very happy that I introduce for 10 of my fellow members of the Valedictory Photo Club, Kolkata. Many of them were here before, and I would like to see my 4 members who are dressed like Indians. Please, wake up, wake up. It was a nice surprise for me too. So, thank you for a great surprise. I feel fine here because everything goes well. All the volunteers, the organizers, the president of the Dum Dum Association, and the guest speakers are making this Congress not to be the 13th as not a good good number, because at the hotel we are living we have the 13th floor. So this was a lucky number of 13th. So I think we should meet not 4 years, but at least for 8 years from now for the next Congress. Again, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Thank you. And I would like to offer to Mr. Sengupta one of my albums about my city, because I'm city of Kolkata, but I'm from the city of Oradea, a smaller city in Romania, but it is the most beautiful city in Romania, the western part of our country. Mr. Ionis was there before, so he knows what I'm talking about. I hope Simon will come also. And why not Mr. Sengupta take a travel to Romania. This is my book. I give the album of the club with the president, and I would like to give you the flag of our club, Valedictory. Thank you very much. Again, thank you very much.
Now Ms. Sheila Dansan, our representative in the International Conference from Mauritius. Please, Ms.
Dear distinguished guests, dear friends, photographers and friends, it has been a true honor to be part of this photographic conference. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Birla Industrial Technological Museum, to the committed organizing team for the warm hospitality and warm welcome, for the thoughtful planning and the gracious invitation. My appreciation also goes to the speakers, to the participants and the mentors of PAD. I would like to take this opportunity to share my enriching experience. I would like to let you know that I will be leaving Kolkata inspired, grateful and confident that future collaboration will be on with PAD and Mauritius Serre des Artistes Photographes, which I represent today. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I was a bit confused. I got a special thanks to Dr. Ganguly, I would like you to applaud our incredible Professor Sengupta. Please. Special applause for you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, in this conference, Photographic Association of confers the honor of Fellow of Photographic Association of Dum Dum to our guest in chief, Mr. Simon Hill, given by Dr. Abhaynath Ganguly. Honorary Fellowship of PhD conferred to O.P.D. Pop, Mr. O.P.D. Pop, given by Dr. Ganguly. Thank you. Honorary Fellowship of PhD to Ms. Sila Dasan, given by Dr. Abhaynath Ganguly. We are deeply honored to have with us our guest in chief, Mr. Simon Hill, who will deliver his valuable speech in front of us. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. I didn't know I was going to be making a speech. Thank you. Right. Okay, is that better? Right. I feel a little bit underdressed this evening, as I didn't bring a jacket or a tie, especially where I see the effort that our Romanian friends went to. Congratulations to them. All I can offer, if the photographers are ready, are my very special socks.
Oh,
So I did make an effort. I bet you wish that was the end of my speech, but it's not. So in all seriousness now, if I could thank on behalf of the other honorary fellows, which is a great gift, so thank you very much indeed. I would like to thank the conference organisers, my fellow delegates on the dais, but most of all the delegates to the conference who came internationally and those whose home is in India. It's been a true pleasure to be guest of honour at this conference. And I'd like to read for you, I think there's been a tradition already in the speeches of beginning with a quote, so I'm going to do exactly the same. When I did my piece to the seminar, I was talking about how we see the world and how we can use photography. And then I moved on to the effect that AI would have. So the quote that I'd like to read to you is very short, and it's in English. There might even be one or two Greek words in there, and certainly no Indian words in there. But it really captures for me what photography is all about. And it's the manifesto of Life magazine, a magazine which doesn't exist anymore, but which was a fantastic vehicle for publishing long-form documentary. The quote is, and I quote, "To see life, to see the world, to eyewitness great events, to watch the faces of the poor and the gestures of the proud, to see and be instructed." And really, and that's the end of the quote. And it's that quote which has inspired me as a photographer. And when I think now about how AI is beginning to affect and dilute or diffuse the line between legitimate photography and a fabricated image, I come back to thinking that there is a great integrity to the process of photography. And as long as we remain true to that integrity, then I think we as photographers, particularly as documentary photographers and photojournalists, then I think we will remain true to photography, and the audience that consumes our photography will be able to trust what we are delivering to them as truth and fact. Now, this conference was delivered under the auspices of FIAP, which I now know is FIAP and not FIAP. So I've spent 40 years saying FIAP, but I've been corrected by no less a person than the Director General himself. He delivered his speech in Greek. I'm going to quote from his organisation's badge and deliver 3 words in Latin: Scientia, Ars, Lumen, which means science, arts, and light. And from that, the science is the knowledge, the science of learning. The art is the art, the skill and the craft of the photographer. And lumen means lamp, light, or a source of light. And from that, the light of knowledge. And it's through those 3 aspects of photography that I think this conference, in the 200th anniversary year of the first photograph that we know to exist, taken by Nicéphore Niepce, The Window at Le Gras, taken 200 years ago this year, probably in March of that year, so we're a little bit early for the 2centenary, the bicentenary. But it's a very auspicious year. It's been a phenomenal year and a phenomenal conference for meeting and engaging with other photographers from around the world. And there was even an opportunity to explore the finer points of the English language with one of our Romanian visitors, a conversation that was prompted by a fish finger. I'm saying nothing more about that. If you wish to explore it further, you need to speak to her directly. Where's she gone? She was there a minute ago, and now she's gone. Probably the embarrassment, but anyway. So really, thank you very much indeed for the invitation. Thank you very much on behalf of my fellow honorary fellows for the award. Thank you very much for your attention during this rambling, unprepared speech. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you all again at maybe the 14th International Conference. So, one more look at the socks. That's it, no more socks. And I'll wear different socks in 3 years' time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Photographic Association of Dum presents the certificate of participation to our foreign delegates. I'm calling out the names. Please come up to the stage. If you feel like saying few words about how did you feel about our conference, you may do that. Otherwise, you receive the certificate and please be seated in the audience. Anna Maria Simutas. I don't know whether I have.
She's out, she will come back. Next.
Botan Kinda.
Botan.
Miss Adrina Siusian. Miss Adrina Siusian.
স্যার আপনি সামনে চলে আসুন।
Mr. Dragus Gabriel Ding. Mr. Dragus Gabriel Ding. Eva Friday. He is in Indian attire. He looks very nice. Miss Eva Kirale. Miss Eva Kirale, please come.
Eva.
Mr. Yonis Nicholas. Mr. Yonis Nicholas. Miss Ika Bakhtar, please come up to the stage. Mr. Harnal Pataki. Mr. Harnal Pataki. I'm so sorry. Miss Harnal Pataki. Mr. Ovi Deepop. Next, Mr. Ovi Deepop. Would you like to say a few words, Ms. Pataki?
Would you like to say something? A few words? In Hungarian, please.
Thank you very much, not only for this great surprise, but for the whole 4 days that we was able to spend here with you together, with your guests together, to meet a lot of beautiful people and a lot of very, very interesting presentations. So thank you again for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pataki. Miss Mariana Skubli. Mrs. Marianne Plano. I'm very sorry. Mr. Marianne Plano. Miss Marcia Florin Apostol. Marcia Florin Apostol. Mrs. Michelle Moses Villiers from Mauritius. Next, Miss Sheila Russell, please. Mr. Simon Hill, sir. Next, Mr. Steve Dubio, please come up. Mr. Steve Dubio.
Yes, coming.
Mr. Vasilios Aikos Nikoris. Lycoris. Anna Mariana Maria Sirodas. End of certificate. Now we would go back to speech again. It is my proud privilege to invite our chairperson this evening, Honorable Justice Ashwin Kumar Banerjee, patron of Photographic Association of Dum Dum, to deliver his valuable speech.
Very warm good evening to all of you. I will be failing in my duty if I do not apologize. Otherwise, our friends from abroad would have a wrong message. The program was scheduled to start at 5 p.m. There was some communication gap for which I was under the impression it would start at 5:30. I came at 5:30. I tender my unqualified apology to all of you. All good things must come to an end. And after a long deliberation on photography for about a week, the time has come now to roll the carpet. So I am entrusted to the duty of rolling the carpet. Photographic Association of Dum Dum, with regular interval, they are organizing this international conference. I had the opportunity to attend the conference earlier also. People from abroad, they have come, they have shared their views. Our distinguished speaker, Dr. Suranjan Das, has expressed worries about AI interfering with everyone, every field of life, including the photography. I am sure the lawmakers would definitely go into the problem and will definitely enact the law to have checks and balances. Otherwise, we would be losing this final art, which is not only an art but also an evidence for the future. I wish you success. I wish this type of conference be held in future, and there would be more and more delegates from abroad. I thank everyone present here. I thank distinguished guests from abroad on behalf of PAT. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Justice Banerjee. As we approach the concluding part of today's program, may I request to come up on stage Mr. Himadri Datto to propose the vote of thanks. Please, Mr. Datto.
Good evening. Formal vote of thanks at first. I welcome you all, and we are very much grateful to the authorities of Birla Industrial and Technological Museum, especially Mr. Arnab Chatterjee and all the staff and members of BITM for heartfelt thanks to them for wonderful cooperation to help this international conference for the last 5-6 days. We are running in paucity of time, that's why I am trying to make it as short as it can be, but I think that whatever our learned inaugurator of this valedictory session, Professor Suranjan Das, has said, and there are lot of quotes coming in Latin and Greek, so I am not leaving this opportunity as far as in retrospect of the position of AI and photography, that the great saying of French philosopher Blaise Pascal, cogito ergo sum, that is, I think, therefore I am. What is the ultimate thing, what Mr. Hill also projected, that the truthfulness and integrity of the photographers, that is in question. So I again thank all the delegates, especially those who have come long way from abroad on the dais, Mr. Obidi Pop, Mr. Simon Hill, Mr. Ayamis Lycoris, Ms. Rana Dasa and Sheila Dasa, and all the Justice Ashim Banerjee, who we consider as a person of our own, and Mr. President and General Secretary, and all the participants and dignitaries of and on dais present in this room. Please, thank you very much.